Yeah, yeah.
So, if you need 5.
So we wait a bit.
Yeah, we can.
Why?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So maybe.
Yeah.
We wait for 5 minutes because it's only.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Johnny, for the introduction. Now that we finally got a mouse, we can start. Yeah. Thanks for your time this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are. Don't be too afraid that I do have quite like 37 slides, but I will go through them as fast as possible. Not everything, I guess, is crucial. And the good thing about business courses as well, which is what we are talking about today, is that it's really standard in terms of the format. For example, a bachelor degree in Australia is always 3 years. A master's degree, most of them are designed for 2 years or 1.5 years. So we'll go through that pretty quickly. What I'll focus on mainly is about Kaplan Business Schools, our key selling points, what attracts the students for us, and obviously you can also, at the end of the presentation, feel free to type in any questions that you might have, okay? All right, so let's start with Kaplan. Yeah, so normally we try to speak about, when I first introduce us to students, we try to speak about the Kaplan global brand. What that means is that when a student comes to study with us, they know that they are coming into an institute that is well established. Yeah, Kaplan, we actually graduate close to 1 million students every year. We actually have 400 locations in more than 30 different countries. Yeah, so we are in Australia, obviously, but we are also in the UK, US, Canada, China, Singapore, all over the world. So students, like I said, students, when they come study with us, they can be sort of well assured, and the qualification that they get from a Kaplan institution is also recognized worldwide. Okay. So this is a little bit of the key reasons students choose to study in Australia. I'll quickly skip through this because I guess most of the students currently, if they are interested to come to study in Australia, I feel they have two main things as well, is that Australia student visa holders are allowed to work 20 hours a week, so that's very attractive. Students can find part-time work, support themselves during their time here. And the other one would be also the post-study work rights initiative by our Australian government, that they are allowed to stay on another 2 years to get some working experience if they complete a bachelor degree or a master's degree that is 2 years or more. So that has always, and that for the past few years has been always an attraction for a lot of students choosing Australia, because they know that they're not only investing for the next 2-3 years in terms of studies, but they also get a chance to stay on to get working experience pretty much guaranteed for another 2 years. Okay? All right. So about Kaplan Business School, we do have 4 campuses in Australia. Yeah. We have Sydney, Melbourne, which I think is the most popular among our international students. But we also have Brisbane and Adelaide. All right. All the courses that we talked about today, they are offered in all 4 locations. All right. So that means that a course in Sydney is the same in Brisbane, is the same in Adelaide, is the same in Melbourne. They have the same price, the same subjects, the same course registration. All right. So because they are all the same, students can also transfer between the campus quite easily. All right. That means a student can study 1 year in Sydney and then decide that they want to move to Melbourne. They can transfer their course there easily, as long as they finish their trimester in their original campus. Okay. The next 4 slides are a little bit about the locations that we have. Yeah. I'll just like to note as well, all 4 campuses are located in the city center. All right, the reason we have our campuses in the city center is to make sure that it's very convenient for students to come to campus through public transport. And also a lot of students, if they choose to find part-time work, a lot of them are in the city, so it also makes it very convenient for them to come to classes, go after that go to work, or come to classes after work, for example. All right. So the 4 locations, all of them are right in the city center. Currently, for our Southeast Asian students, Malaysian and Indonesian students, the 2 most popular would be Sydney and Melbourne. Yeah, that picture there is actually a picture of our Melbourne campus. Yeah, so these 2 are the most popular, but understandably so, with the big cities comes higher living costs. We are also trying to push a little bit more on Brisbane and Adelaide as study destinations, because a lot of these destinations are significantly quite more affordable, which allows students to obviously they also have very good work opportunities there, and this allows students to obviously have a quieter lifestyle and then more affordable lifestyle as well. Okay. All right. So we'll start with what we do well at KBS, at all our business schools, is that each business school, we have a dedicated career center. I was mentioning earlier that students want to come to Australia and hopefully get work experience before they go back. So this ties in very well with what we do for our students, because every student that studies with us have the chance to do a work placement and an internship. All right. This is for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. All right. So there's also no limit of how many internships a student wants to do. For example, a student can do 2 or 3 internships during the studies, or they can choose to do 1 internship. It's really up to them. Okay. Each internship will normally take 3 to 4 months. Yeah. And if a student is studying accounting, we'll put them into accounting internship. If they are doing marketing, we'll put them into a marketing internship. Okay. So every time we set up an internship opportunity for our students, we make sure that they. Yeah.
I think some audience said the screen is too small.
Okay. So
make it big.
Yeah, we can make it full screen then.
Yep.
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like I was saying, whenever we send a student to the internship, we make sure that they we tell them to, yes, the main thing is to get experience, but also try to do well, impress your employers, impress your bosses, and you'll get the employment opportunity after that. Okay. These slides actually show that in our internship, 2-in-1 students, that means more than 50% of our students. In fact, for the last 2 years, that percentage has increased to about 70% of our students that choose to do an internship actually get a job offer from the internship company. All right, that means there is a really good chance, if the students does well, a lot of the internship companies will actually snap them up, and a lot of them will end up with jobs even during their studies. All right, but like I said, the main purpose for us organizing work placements and internship is to allow students to step into industry. All right, to have that industry exposure, to make sure that they not only graduate with an Australian degree, but graduate with some Australian work experience to go along with it. Okay. Yeah, I'd like to introduce our Academic Success Center. Again, this academic ASC is what we call them. It's also located in all 4 campuses in our library. So Academic Success Center is important for students that to support students academically. That means that every student that needs extra help in terms of tutoring, if they're not catching up with their lectures, they can come and see our ASC, and we will try our best to help them so that they are passing their subjects, so that they're doing well in their subjects. All right. So as you can see here, these are some things that we do for our students. For example, we teach them how to do proper referencing. We teach them how to have practice good general study techniques. We teach them different presentation skills to make sure that they are doing well in their course. So, for example, if your student is the first time in Australia, if they're handing in their first assignment, we also help with sort of proofreading their assignment, for example, to make sure that they are on the right track, they're having the right format, again, just to maximize their marks, just to make sure that they're passing and doing well. Okay. So obviously every reputable school, I'll just quickly go through this as well. We have our student experience officers that basically offer any extra student support that they need. We also organize different events and activities throughout the year just to make sure students are settling in well into Australia, into their respective cities, and also create a bit of a vibrant environment at campus. All right. Okay, so we can move on to our courses. This would be our undergraduate courses. All right. We do have a diploma of business, and we have 6 different bachelor of business. The 6 different ones are general, accounting, finance, hospitality and tourism management, marketing and management. Okay. With our diploma of business, it's a 1-year course. All right. It is not a vocational diploma, it's a higher education diploma. All right. Students that finish the diploma can jump into the 2nd year in the bachelor degree. All right. Like any other bachelor business bachelor degrees in Australia, a bachelor degree is in Australia in business will take 3 years. So if they do a diploma first, they can jump into the 2nd year. That means they still complete in 3 years. The main reason students will start with a diploma is normally is because if their IELTS or English result is not as good. Because in the diploma of business, we do accept students with a 5.5 equivalent in IELTS, whereas the bachelor of business students actually need a 6.0 in their IELTS. Okay. Next is our postgraduate degrees. There is 6 postgraduate degrees, but I think the ones that you need to remember are the Master of Professional Accounting, Masters of Accounting, and our Masters of Business Administration. The graduate certificates and graduate diplomas are normally 8 months to a year courses. They're normally shorter courses. And from what we see, normally these are done by our local Australian students. So most students, if they want to choose to come and study in Australia, they want at least a 2-year course. All right. I think it's worth mentioning as well, I forgot to mention in the previous slide, is that all of our accounting courses taught at KBS are accredited, all right, by CPA, CA, and ACCA. All right. So once they finish our accounting courses with us, they will get associate membership or foundation memberships with either with any of these 3 governing bodies in accounting. All right. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, the diploma of business is 1 year, yeah, and these will be the 8 subjects that will make up the first year of the Bachelor of Business. These 8 subjects are the same as the Bachelor of Business, so therefore, if they finish the diploma, they can jump into the 2nd year in our bachelor degree. Okay, so this is a Bachelor of Business. Like I said, this is the 6 majors that we have. So like Bachelor of Business, very standard, 8 subjects in the first year, 2nd year another 8 subjects, 3rd year another 8 subjects. At KBS, we go by a trimester. Okay, that means that we have 3 intakes a year. It's March, July, and November. All right, so that means 8 subjects. Students will complete 3 in March, 3 in July, 2 in November. Okay, so that's how they finish the 8 subjects in a year. A common question that I get is that can students take November intake off? The answer is yes. They can take November as a holiday if they do 4 subjects in March, 4 subjects in July. Okay, that means they completed the 8 subjects for the year. They can take November off as a holiday. They can go back to their home country for Christmas break or stay in Australia if they wish to work. All right. In the first year of the bachelor, every of these, all the students study the same subjects. That means accounting, finance, students, marketing, all of them study in the same classroom. 2nd year is when they start doing. Okay. Right. Yeah. In the 2nd year is when they start to do their major subjects. Okay. Year 2 is when the accounting students do the accounting subjects. The hospitality students do the hospitality subjects, and so forth. Okay. Okay. So next we move on to our postgraduate courses. We'll actually skip to the 2 courses that I mentioned earlier: the Masters of Professional Accounting and the Masters of Accounting. Okay. How do I go to the previous slide actually?
Just previous.
Yeah. Okay. So Masters of Professional Accounting, if you can see here, is 1 year and 4 months with 12 subjects. Okay, so these 12 subjects all you need to get accreditation from CPA, ACCA, and CA. Okay, but a lot of students don't find this attractive enough because it's only 1 year and 4 months. If a student comes to Australia and study, if they want to get post-study work visa, they actually need to study in a course 2 years or more. All right. So that's why we have the Masters of Accounting, which is 2 years, 16 subjects. All right. These 16 subjects here are the same subjects as the Masters of Professional Accounting, but we've added 4 more additional subjects to make sure that it is a 2-year course. All right. So if most of our students, international students that come from overseas to study with us, they would prefer to do the 2-year course just to make sure that they get post-study work rights. So when they finish their accounting course, they get to explore the accounting industry here in Australia and hopefully get the work experience before they decide to go back or before they decide to apply for another visa. Okay. In reality, yeah, both of the courses are very similar, but the Masters of Professional Accounting, because it's less subjects, normally we also try to say it's for students that already have some business or accounting background, whereas the Masters of Accounting are designed for students from any education background. Okay, as long as the student has a strong statement of purpose of how an accounting degree can help them in their career, and this is mainly for their visa purposes, they can come in to study our Masters of Accounting. Yeah. So for example, a student with an engineering degree, if they want to come and study accounting in Australia, they would need to study the Masters of Accounting because it's more suitable for students from without accounting background. Okay. All right. So yeah, the next one is our last but not least, actually our MBA course. Our MBA has been our fastest growing course for the last 2 years. All right. It is it's only one course registered on CRI-Course, but we do have different specialization in the MBA, which provides students a different sort of graduation outcome, so to speak. Okay, so with the MBA, again, you can see that we designed it for 2 years and 12 subjects. All right, 12 subjects for 2 years doesn't sound like a lot, but we've actually increased the number of credit points for each subject. So even though they only finish 12 subjects in 2 years, after they graduate, the MBA, the 12 subject MBA is equivalent to a 15 or 16 subject MBA. All right, 12 subject means that each year they only need to complete 6 subjects. All right, if you think about it, that means each trimester they only need to do 2 subjects. That means 2 in March, 2 in July, 2 in November. Okay, because they only have 2 subjects, students that do our MBA have a lot of time, all right, to do part-time work. They also have a lot of time to do their own research or do an internship with us to help with their future career, all right? So these are the 6 different specializations that we have in the MBA. We have a specialization in entrepreneurship, international leadership, health services management, digital management, project management, and a very new one starting this year is the tourism and hospitality leadership. So when students apply for our MBA, they do need to choose a specialization, okay? But students can also change their specialization halfway through because most of the specialization subjects will be done in their 2nd year. So as long, for example, if a student apply for international leadership, MBA in international leadership, they can still change halfway through to health services management if they want to in the middle of the course. Okay, I have some videos here to talk about each specialization. You can watch it on your own time, but maybe we can also have a look at one of these. Hopefully this will work.
Did you share the PPT only or share the whole screen?
Well, share the whole screen. But it's still like it's not showing.
One glance at the government's skilled occupations list demonstrates the extent to which Australia desperately needs talented healthcare individuals. This can be attributed to the ageing population, which is increasing the number of Australians need assistance, in a country with fewer and fewer people to look after them. The specialisation therefore prepares students for the management of this vital service, focusing very much on systems, strategies, and quality assurance. Students graduating with a specialisation in health service manager with a medical practice, a unit manager, or perhaps even an industry consultant. In the KBS MBA, there are only workshops. This means that rather than having academics talking non-stop, this MBA instead comprises workshops that are punctuated by many activities, discussions, and interactive experiences.
Okay, so that is sort of one of the videos that we have. I'll just click into the link
New
here.
beginnings aren't easy.
So we do have quite a extensive sort of YouTube channel to explain some of our courses, especially the MBA. Like I said, it's our fastest growing courses. Maybe we'll have a look at this one because it will also I'll also speak about the key selling points of how we create an MBA that is very different. So maybe this video will also help you.
The KBS MBA is flexible for three reasons. First, there's a wide variety of electives to choose from. Second, students can swap from one specialisation to another. And third, they're able to switch from a face-to-face program to an online one, and vice versa. So whilst a general option is definitely available in the Kaplan Business School MBA, so too are 5 specialisations that enable students to craft a program that meets not only their career ambitions, but also their interests. In the KBS MBA, there are only workshops. So this means that rather than having academics talking non-stop, this MBA instead comprises workshops that are punctuated by many activities, discussions, and interactive experiences. Online students too are invited to attend a weekly online workshop that replicates all the discussions and activities that occur in the face-to-face version. These workshops are then recorded and posted on an online portal where they can be accessed not only by those studying online, but also those enrolled in the face-to-face version.
Okay. Oh, where should I go back to this slide here? Okay.
We'll go back to the slide.
Yep. All right. So yeah. So as you can see from some of those videos earlier, we created an MBA that is very practical. All right. What that means is that we actually involve a lot of industry within the MBA studies. All right. As you can see on this slide here, every subject that a student studies with us, yeah, they will get access, or we will actually invite an industry speaker, okay, someone from outside Kaplan, to come in and talk to our students about that particular topic. For example, if your student is doing a subject in digital marketing, we will actually get someone that is well known in the industry to come in and talk about what's happening in industry, what type of jobs are available, just to make sure that our students are not just focusing on their textbooks, but they are also exposed to what's happening in the real world outside. Okay. How we make the course more practical is also our MBA. We actually have no exams. All right. No exam doesn't mean it's easier. All right. No exam means that we have a more practical type of assessment for all our students. That means that our students will be given grades based on their assignments, based on their group work, maybe their individual essays, their presentations, and their class participations. Okay. So because normally during exams, in the traditional way of studying, students tend to memorize content. All right. So what happened is that after they finish their exams, they tend to forget what they memorized. Okay. So we actually want to bring away that type of study method or that study culture We want to make sure that a student is studying throughout a trimester and making sure that they are in a subject to learn. So by having more practical assessments, we are ensuring students are learning throughout their course instead of just cramping into 1 or 2 exams that determine their entire grade. Okay? Okay, so I think from the earlier slide as well, our academic dean did mention that in our MBA classes, we don't have lectures and tutorials, but instead we focus on workshop type classes. All right, so that means a student, when they come into our classes, they are not sitting row by row, just listening to someone talk for 2 hours, trying to stay awake. Okay, they are sitting in a round table. They are sitting together discussing the topics. All right, for example, the lecturer will normally go through 4 or 5 slides, and then he or she will stop. And then we will have an activity, we have a brainstorming session, or a discussion about what the slides just mentioned. So we will basically focus on how to apply theory, okay, more practical sort of teaching compared to just a student coming into class taking notes and then going back and doing tutorials and stuff like that, okay? So as you can see, we design an MBA, like I was saying earlier, to be very practical. We focus a lot on not only what we teach, but also how we teach the course to make sure that we provide students the best learning experience. Having said that, like this sort of teaching method, I'm saying, explaining for our MBA, but for the past year and a half or so, these teaching methods, for example, workshop classes, more practical assessments, we have also brought those teaching methods into the undergraduate course as well. For example, half of the undergraduate subjects, I've been told, they have also very similar teaching methods to the MBA. That means we create a more practical classroom compared to a regular classroom that you normally get in a business course. Okay. All right. So now we get to the entry requirements for each course. We'll start actually with the English requirements because this is quite easy to remember. All our courses require IELTS 6.0, with speaking and writing needing to be 6, okay? Except for the diploma, which is 5.5, all right? All other courses, undergraduate and postgraduate, we need a 6.0, all right? For the undergraduate, we need a year 12 equivalent, okay? So that means if you're from Indonesia, that means the SMA3. If you're from Malaysia, that means STPM or some sort of diploma that you've done after SPM, or foundation after you've done after SPM. For the postgraduate entry requirements, as long as you have a bachelor degree equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree, as long as your qualification is equivalent to an Australian bachelor degree, we can accept you into the MBA or the Masters of Accounting. We don't necessarily need working experience, okay? An alternative, if students haven't completed a bachelor degree, they can also get in through a diploma or advanced diploma if they have work experience, okay? And this is the accounting course as well. Again, IELTS requirement is the same, and as long as they finish a bachelor degree, they can come into accounting course or an advanced diploma equivalent for the Masters of Accounting. Okay. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, we have 3 intakes a year. Obviously now it's already 2019. We start in March, July, and November. So orientation dates are normally 1 week before the course actual start dates. And I also maybe should mention this as well. These are the course start dates. That means the actual class start on the 18th of March, 15th July, and 11th November. But we do also normally have 1 or 2 weeks late enrollment. If students are waiting for their visas, for example, we can issue a late enrollment extension if they need a bit more time to sort out their visas or wait for their visas to be approved. Okay. So as you can see, each trimester goes for about 4 months. A student start in March, they finish in June, and then they have about 2 or 3 weeks rest before they start back in July. Okay? And these are our fees. for 2019, a bachelor degree, for example, is 51,600. All right, this is for all 3 years. Okay, not only for a year. This is for all 3 years. So 1 year, the bachelor degree will cost about 17,000, which is the price of the diploma. Okay, because the diploma is 1 year, and it's the same price as the bachelor degree. So 1 year for the bachelor degree, you're looking at about 17,200 Australian dollars. Okay, for the Masters of Accounting, it's 41,600. Again, it's for 2 years. Masters of Professional Accounting, 31,200. This is for 1 year and 4 months. And the MBA is 43,500 for 2 years. So if you're looking for a 2-year master's degree, it will cost the student about 20,000+ a year. Okay, so as you can see with the fees, we are quite competitive compared to, for example, other universities' fees in Australia. Okay, again, all the student, all the fees are the same across all 4 campuses. All right. Okay, so this is a very popular question. What scholarships do you have? I just want to clarify, we don't offer any full scholarships for our students currently, unfortunately, but we do have 2 different scholarships that we have. The most common one will be the regional scholarship. Okay, this is a 10% scholarship for our Southeast Asian students. Okay, so how to get this scholarship is quite simple. Students need to complete a 65% average in their previous studies. Okay, so for example, if you have a student coming to study Masters of Accounting, we will look at the results from their bachelor degree back home. Okay, and then we will determine what is 65% and above. So 65%, just to let you know, is credit average in Australia. Okay, so that means that it's very achievable. I would say most of our Malaysian or Indonesian students, I would say close to 80% of our students will get this scholarship. All right, so 10% would mean close to more than a $5,000 saving for their bachelor degree and more than a $4,000 saving for their master's degree. And once the student gets this scholarship, technically they don't lose it. Okay, and this scholarship is throughout the whole course. That means when they get the scholarship, it's for their whole 3 years bachelor or for their whole 2 years master's degree. Okay, the next one we have is a high achiever scholarship. I think I made a mistake here. It's not 50%, sorry, it's 30%. I'll send out a new version of these slides. It is a 30% scholarship, not 50%. What we need is students to get an average of 90% in their previous studies. Okay, so if we are looking at 90%, we are normally looking at 3.6 GPA or straight A students if they are doing high school. Okay, so 30% again will be a huge saving. That means the more than $15,000 saving for their bachelor degree and about 12 to 13,000 saving for their master's degree. Okay. Again, once they get it, they won't lose it, and it's applicable to their whole course instead of only their first year. Okay, so all these scholarships are I put this link here. If you click it, it will send you to our website, and it will also show you the most updated scholarship forms. And both scholarships, students also need to write a short essay of how a Kaplan degree can help you achieve success in the future. Yeah, this is just 250 words is about 3/4 a page, and 500 words is about 1.5 page. So it's not too long, and make sure students don't need to write too long, right? Okay, so just to recap in terms of what we talked about earlier in terms of our key selling points, and this is some of our other selling points as well. So like I was saying, careers is something that we do really, really well with our students. 1 in 2 students, better than 50% of our students actually get hired by our careers, by our internship companies. We help more than, in fact, last year we helped more than 400 students get sort of career placement, job placements throughout our 4 campuses. Our average class size is also 25 students per classroom. Okay, That means that students, compared to university, for example, that sometimes you're walking into a classroom with 100, 150 students. We keep our class size about 25, 30, 35 students. That means that our students will get more attention from their lecturers. They get a more personalized service and from the faculty staff as well. Last year, we host more than students from 90 different countries. Sometimes students don't think about when they study in Australia, they don't think about this yet, but a lot of institutes in Australia are now struggling with sometimes nationality mix, all right? It's good that a student, when they come and study in Australia, they are studying in a class that is very multicultural, all right? So currently we don't have one nationality more than 15% in all 4 campuses, for example. That means that when your students come and study in our business school, they'll be sitting in a class with students from all around the world, okay? They'll be experiencing or discussing their, doing work with students with different cultural background, and hopefully from different academic background as well. So this brings more towards the more personal attention. Study flexibility, like I was saying, we do have 4 different time slots that we organize classes from. So this is important for some students if they want to arrange part-time work or if they want to do an internship. For example, if a student is studying an MBA with us, they only do 2 subjects. That means they come to campus only twice a week. If a student is studying a bachelor degree or master's degree in accounting with us, they are only doing 3 subjects. That means they only come to campus 2 or 3 times a week, all right? And we also have morning classes, 2 classes in the afternoon that they can choose from different time slots. And we also run an evening class. So students that need to work in the morning or in the afternoon can also join our evening classes, which normally starts at 5 and we finish about 8, okay? And a lot of our faculty members that we hire at Kaplan Business School are also industry people, okay? Earlier, I was talking about practical learning, hands-on type of learning, all right? So how we do this is also to make sure that the academics that engage with our students are also industry people, that they are not only academic people, but they are also lecturers that are heavily involved in the real world, all right? These are some of the industry accreditations, like I was saying, CPA, CA, and ACCA, they work with us very closely. In fact, CPA Australia visits our Melbourne and Sydney campus twice a year to talk to our students, give them seminars, and also let our accounting students know what to expect after they graduate. And some of the very popular questions that I get is also, with your internship program, who are the people that you work with? Okay, so as you can see here, we do work with quite a few high-profile companies. For example, in hospitality and tourism, we do work with the Marriott, Hilton, Novotel Hotels. With accounting, we do work with PwC, EY, Deloitte, and KPMG as well. And these are some of the smaller companies or mid-sized companies that we work with in order to place our students in terms of internship and work placement. We don't guarantee every student will get into a big company to do their internship, okay? This is because each student has different needs. So every time we sit down with a student to put them into industry, we actually talk to them about what their career needs are, okay? Sometimes students actually get to learn more if they go into a smaller role or in a smaller company, okay? So it will depend on the student needs, and we actually sit down with each student, talk to them one-on-one in terms of giving them career counseling and prepare them for the particular internship, okay? This is a little bit of how to apply for our international students. Currently we don't have a apply online system yet, so most of our students coming from international students coming from overseas, we do use our agents, yeah, and I think this is pretty straightforward. They apply, they get their offer letter, after they accept the offer, they get their COE. These are some videos of some good resources that I think are quite useful. Maybe we can, if we have time, we have a quick look at some of them now. I'll just do this. Go back into the YouTube page. And then we can maybe have a look at.
New beginnings aren't easy.
So maybe we'll have a look at. So yeah, maybe this one, like we also have different events that we do. We can have a look at this one because we have been talking about careers. And this is a event that we did 2 months ago for Ernst & Young. Yeah.
It's not going to come down to you, so I guess there are no experience and bad experience. It's not specific in terms of what you should be looking for, but everything that you find a passion and you feel really better and sets you apart from everyone else, do it. But it's the thing with EY and some of the other big four companies, they are looking for people that stand out and do things differently.
Yeah. So, for example, events like this, and for Sydney, actually, we are doing one with KPMG tomorrow as well. This one is for our Brisbane students. We actually brought them to EY because they invite us, and a lot of the students obviously are accounting students, are also looking to hopefully get some employment or internship opportunity with these accounting firms as well. So I'll quickly go back and maybe we'll have a look at what happens at, for example, orientation. Can have a look at this.
What do you love about Sydney? My favourite part about Sydney is the actual city. You know, I've lived out west, now I live in the city, and it's by far my favourite.
The way they treat people in here, because they're so welcoming even though we're international students.
Sydney, I love Sydney because it's very welcoming country and a very multicultural country.
I think Australia in general is a really cool country, and it's kind of similar, like the weather and the vibe from my country, so I wouldn't be so like homesick.
Rest of the year orientation week, how does it feel to be a Kaplan Business School?
I'm excited to go back to studying.
You know, I'm really, really excited to be here, really excited to see how the year turns out. All right, hands on head or hands on up. Let's go. Wait. Like the hands on head, sit down, yeah. Oh, I got that. You good? That's good. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Favorite food?
French fries.
You have a lot of good burgers in Sydney. Pizza. I love pizza.
They're not the expensive, so I want to try Domino's. Have you tried Vegemite before?
Yeah, I have.
I didn't like it.
It was really nice.
Yes. Yes. I'm not keen on Vegemite.
It's almost same with the liver spread in the Philippines, so I love it.
Okay, so yeah, in terms of, I heard some of you can't really
New beginnings aren't easy.
listen to the audio from the videos. But yeah, if you have time, have a look at our YouTube sort of videos. I think that is where we sort of update with different events happening across our campuses, student testimonials and stuff like that. I'll quickly go back to the slide. Actually, we're almost done. So I have some links here also about and you can click on them to have quick access. But yeah, I think that's it for my presentation. And then we will go to question and answer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Yong. So if you have any question, please type in the chat group. So we try to answer it.
Yeah.
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 And also we will send you the PPT slide for our agent partner from Malaysia, that's from Katie, or from Joy if you're from Indonesia. Yeah.
So no questions?
We will wait for a bit.
Oh, how much? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this question is how many percentage of Indonesian students are studying with us? Good question. We actually just found that out last week that we had about 80 students across all the 4 campuses. Most of the students are in Sydney and Melbourne. Actually, most of them are in Sydney. 80 students will mean that we have about 4% of Indonesian students. Yeah, with Malaysian students, it's a bit less. I think about 50 to 60 students. So yeah, so about what 2.5–3%. Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of it, and hopefully you are able to look at the video just now and see, because that was a video of orientation day in Sydney. If you look at the video, those are all our new students, and you can see that we do get students from a lot of different countries, South America, Europe, Asia, different parts of Asia. So I think that is what is unique with our business school as well, is that we do focus a lot of our recruitment in other countries to make sure that students, are studying in a good mix of students from other countries. Yeah. But currently, yeah, Indonesian students, I would say each year about 75 to 80 students that are studying with us. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Any other questions?
No other questions? Easy.
Maybe that's all.
Yeah. If there's no other questions.
So I think we can end this presentation. Thanks for your time. And then, as I said before, you can talk.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, sure. So you can request the PowerPoint slide from either Katie or Joy. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Let me do this. And